Good afternoon and welcome to another episode of the Crowded Booth. I'm Bryce Kuhn here alongside Josh Mixon, and it is spring football time once again. We are here in Athens, Georgia, right here, overlooking Sanford Stadium, where the game tomorrow afternoon around 4 o'clock is going to be kicking off. Football is back, and I'm here with Josh. Josh covers Georgia sports for the Athens Banner-Herald. He's just here to preview what to expect for this game and what to look forward to. So, Josh, coming off just a really gut-wrenching national championship loss for Georgia, things have been kicked off here. Spring practice is well in, and now we're going to cap it off with a spring game. A lot of guys that are graduated no longer here, but a lot of guys that are coming back, some leadership in that role. But I think one of the big things that people are excited about is to see, five-star prospect, just uber talented Justin Fields take the field tomorrow. I think it's for the team in black tomorrow that he'll be playing for. What are you most excited to see from him?
I'm really just excited to see, honestly, how he does under center. This is something that we kind of noticed watching him in spring ball this year. Is when he was at Harrison High School, he did not take snaps under center. He was from the shotgun the entire time, and so that's given him a lot of issues in spring. We saw him fumble a few just hands-offs coming out of center. And that's something that Jake Fromm's honestly going to have an advantage over, because when you go into short yardage situations, you're not going to be out of the shotgun. When you go in goal line situations, you're not going to be in the shotgun. So really, for him to be able to develop that and be able to actually take snaps under center and not fumble them is going to be the biggest, I think, challenge for him.
Yeah, definitely. You saw Fromm had a little bit of a learning curve early on in the season last year when he had to take over for Eason. But you really look into how he was able to mature over the year, and now it's like the whole thing over again. You have an incumbent freshman, now sophomore coming in. A little bit different though, because Eason went 8-4 his first year, and now here comes Fromm well off a SEC championship and a national championship game appearance. So most people are just like, let's let him ride it out, and if Fields proves something. But Fields has the talent. I mean, there's a reason that he was named a 5-star prospect, and I think that's one of the biggest things people are excited about seeing is that competition. Is it really there? And we're going to get that a little bit later on. You also have the recruiting class for Georgia this past cycle was unreal. And I know y'all are very busy trying to keep up with everything on signing day, but you have guys like Kyrus Jackson, wide receiver, who's going to be a downfield threat, something that Georgia kind of maybe needs to get some more depth in that position. You saw Javon Wims, he stepped up huge last year for Georgia, but now he's going to be taking his talents to the NFL. And we're going to get a little bit more into some guys you're looking forward to that are coming back, but guys like Kyrus Jackson. Then you have Brenton Cox, who flipped late to Georgia on signing day. He's going to be coming in on a defensive line that, read an article the other day that the defense line's been struggling with some injury issues, and so he'll probably get some looks at the spring game, maybe on the first team or second team. So you got to be excited about the young talent Georgia's bringing in. And from your perspective, and you've been in here in Athens for a while now, and all I heard the whole time, and I recapped the game, national championship game with Brandon Sudge, and one of the things he talked about was the atmosphere was kind of low after that next day, that Tuesday afternoon and that Tuesday morning. But there's some excitement building here just coming into the city today. People are excited. Fans are coming in. It's going to be a crazy atmosphere. What are you most excited to see just from an atmosphere and fans?
I'm excited to see, honestly, how the fans respond. I know Kirby Smart's made it a pretty significant emphasis in numerous press conferences this year, kind of encouraging fans to come out, create the same atmosphere they have at the past two G-Day games. I mean, I think last year it was something like 93, the year before that 95 or something. Mm-hmm. That's a big point that he's going to make, is he wants to be able to go on the recruiting trail and say, look, everyone else has 40,000 at their spring game. My school has 95.
Yeah.
And that's really, I'm looking forward to it. I know the atmosphere won't be kind of near where it was last year with, we're looking at the scoreboard right now, still under construction, so there's going to be an entire end zone without fans behind it. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to see how they show out.
I think, with all the recruits that are going to be here for the class of 2019, I think that's going to just be a wow moment for them, because usually, like you talked about in spring games, you might have 30 to 40,000 people there. Well, for the past 2 years here, it's felt like an atmosphere in the fall. Fans love to come out and support the team, and they're excited. They're excited. I think there's more excitement now after the national championship appearance to what this team can do now with still a relatively young team. And as we get into that, the atmosphere's probably not going to be the same, like you said, because of the scoreboard, which, I walked down there a second ago, and it's massive. I mean, you were saying it's about as big as a basketball court,
yeah,
which is huge. It might rival the one at Auburn. I'm not really sure. But as you talk about guys that are going to be returning, and those guys that, the graduating class last year was, Chubb, Michelle. That was a huge thing. So where do you go from there? Then you look at the defense side of the ball. You have Carter and Bellamy, who in my opinion, they didn't show out all 4 years, but this past senior they really stepped up. Especially, they seem to have timely sacks, timely forced turnovers. Then you get to the secondary, you have, a couple guys back there that graduated and guys that are going to be coming up. And then obviously the biggest loss and potential top 10, definitely top 15 pick in Raquan Smith. He elected to forego his senior year. He's going to be taking the step to the NFL. Where do you replace those guys? And obviously you have those young guys, but guys that are returning, we were talking about right before, Chubb Michelle, that's gone. And that's a weird thing to see. They've been here for the past 4 years. But we're talking about, some guys that are banged up. What does the running back depth chart look for this spring game and maybe beyond?
Yeah, it feels like for the first time in like a decade that Nick Chubb's not going to be taking snaps at running back. But, I mean, it really is. It's going to be different. It's going to be a lot different than what we saw last year with Chubb and Michelle getting, 90 carries a game, it seemed like. There's guys like, obviously Zamir White's battling the injury, so he's not, if he does play tomorrow, it's going to be very limited, so I'm not expecting to see a lot out of him. But, guys that what's the word for it? Played last year?
Played last year, the returning guys.
Contributed last year. The guys that contributed last year, they were going to get a lot of carries. I know Brian Harry and your own, Brookstone's own, Prather Hudson got a lot of snaps at number 2 that pretty much this whole spring because of the injuries. So running back-wise, there's not a whole lot to see there just because of all the injuries. I'm pretty excited to see what the receiver corps does. Yeah, you talked about also another guy, DeAndre Swift. When he was able to break through, and it seemed like you said that the workload was really carried by Sony Michel and Nick Chubb. And in the SEC Championship game, you kind of saw DeAndre Swift break out in a big way. And I'm really excited by him. He is also banged up a little bit, so we'll see what he's limited. And obviously in a game like this, the fans want to see everybody, but Coach Smart and his staff are smart enough, and the medical staff, they're not going to let a guy go out there and if he's already banged up in practice and get hurt and hurt himself just for the fans' appeasement. But yeah, the wide receiving core, and you were talking about a guy that you can go ahead and speak on who had a big national championship game, Mecole Hardman, and did a great job. And what do you think that he's going to be able to bring to this team for not only the spring game, but as they get into fall practice and into the regular season? Yeah. So sorry to all the fans out there to bring up the national championship game again, but he did have that really long touchdown that, sorry, I thought put the game out of reach. I thought put the game away. What do I know, though? Anyways, you're losing a receiver like Javon Wims, who's a big downfield threat, big body, can go up and catch the ball in the end zone against really any quarterback. Mm-hmm. Losing him hurts, and it's really going to show with the offense that Georgia runs this year. It's going to be a lot of what you saw kind of Florida's quarterbacks trash talk about, a lot of quick slants, a lot of short outs, a lot of quick passes, probably not to the tight ends as much, but you're going to see Hardman get the ball a lot. You're going to see Terry Godwin get the ball a lot, and that's really what to look for in the spring game, especially since Kirby's going to be probably toning back the offense a little bit and not really throwing everything out there. Yeah, definitely. They don't want to throw every single play out there so that people can get an early catch on the film. One guy I'm excited about also, when Javon Wims kind of went down in that national championship game, Riley Ridley stepped up in a big way and outplayed his brother, who's going to be probably a first-round pick in the draft. I'm excited to see how he plays because he had a good freshman year, had some sparks there, and then kind of sophomore year went quiet. I think there was maybe due to some off-the-field issues, but then was able to come in, and then you saw that all accumulated to him in the national championship game, being able to play great. And like we had a pretty funny conversation with him in media times. So he was talking about, what the receivers that he looks up to, obviously his brother, and then he said A.J. Green. And I think Mark Weiser of the Banner asked him, who was better, A.J. or Calvin. He wouldn't say that. He wouldn't give an answer. And AJ's obviously he might be here tomorrow. I'm not sure. I know a lot of the pro guys try to come back and support their team, but Calvin, definitely a talent that he's going to be a luxury for any team to have, whether they pick him. So yeah, a guy like the wide receiving core, you lose Javon Wims, kind of that 50-50 ball guy. They were able to go to a ton of times. I can't tell you how many times they get down about the 3 or 5 yard line, and they don't decide to run the ball, then they're probably throwing it in the corner to Javon. Terry Godwin, another guy, feels like he's been here forever. Yeah. He's a senior, and he'll be having a huge role in that offense. One guy for me that I feel like I'm excited about is J.R. Reed. He came in as a transfer from Tulsa and wasn't really thought to have much of an impact, really, and stepped up in a major way. And I think he's going to be one of the key contributors to this defense. A lot of vocal leadership. J.R. Reed can be that guy alongside a guy like DeAndre Baker, who really showed out as almost a true number one corner for Georgia later on the stretch. I remember that Mississippi State game. That was a great atmosphere, but with that game, you had their passing
their passing offense really wasn't able to do much, and it was a lot of credit to him. He had a couple, nice swats, a couple breakups that were really key in letting Georgia just really dominate that game and never really getting Mississippi State started. And then you head into the defensive line anchoring there. You had Trenton Thompson lead. A lot of guys, but you got guys like Julian Rochester. He's going to come up big, I feel like, this year. So Georgia's got a lot of guys they can bring in. You'll see a lot of it in the spring game. That's going to be exciting, and this almost sounds like a preview for the fall. But definitely this spring game is going to give them a lot of opportunities to see what they can work with. Like you said, probably not going to throw the whole playbook out there, and Jim Chaney and company probably not going to throw the whole playbook out there. And I'm going to ask you a quick question that is you're not prepared for, but we'll see how you do. The tight ends. I think that's one of the big things fans thought and were kind of questioning last year. You have a guy like former 5-star Isaac Nada. You had Jeb Blazevich, who, not a very heralded recruit coming out of high school, but had a great Georgia career. And some guys behind him, and Warner and Jackson. What do you do with the talent there? And it didn't really seem like they were going to they really ever threw them the ball. If they did, it was more of like a surprise or almost a gimmick play. Do you think we'll see some more of the tight ends coming into play in the passing game?
I think it'll be kind of more of the same as what we saw last year. I'm actually very happy you brought up the tight ends, because that's one thing Kirby Smart does not like to talk about in press conferences. I quote, he said, "I'm so tired of tight end questions." So that's not something that I don't think Kirby wants to talk about, and I don't expect that to really change. I think it's going to be a lot more of what we saw last year, with a lot of different receivers getting the ball and then running backs out of the backfield.
And, that brings it right into the Fromm versus Fields, and there's been multiple articles all offseason about it, and spring practice. Well, what does he look like? Does he look good? I think that from my perspective, Fromm has the job. When you lead a team to a national championship, you're doing something right, especially as a freshman. He's got the experience, the big game experience.
Unless your name is Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, unless your name's Jalen Hurts, which is a completely different topic of conversation in the news that came out recently. So you have a guy like Fromm, and have been there, done that, the Georgia boy. Then you still have another local product guy in Justin Fields. You're talking about one of the things that might set him back early on, and probably did, he's probably still trying to learn, is taking it from under center, because a lot of spread. And I was able to watch him play in person. They came over and played Rome High School, which was a great battle between former high school 5-star standouts, him and Adam Anderson, that's coming in. You have guys like that, and he ran the ball a ton and was able to run the ball a ton. Has a cannon for an arm. I just don't know if he's ever been able to run a pro-style offense, and that's one thing Georgia prides itself on. So to see how he makes that transition, but it's going to be an exciting day tomorrow for a lot of fans. It should, even though they have the construction out here behind us that's going to limit the amount of seats that are available. I know that a lot of fans are going to come out and support the Georgia, and they're ready to get at it again. And this is only just going to be a glimpse for them to see. And any final thoughts? You think that who's going to win? Who do you think's going to win?
I'll admit that I haven't been one to look at the rosters yet. I'm going to go with experience, though, and I'm going to say Jake Fromm's red team wins, though. Yeah,
Fromm, the red team, they seem to have more of that veteran leadership. The teams in black, they're going to have some young guys that are excited. And my player to watch for is Richard LeCow. I love him. The energy he brings. If you haven't seen the video yet of him doing the backflip at the Rose Bowl, he's a fun energy guy and a hard hitter. And one thing that Raquan Smith talked about in his exit interview talking about how he tabbed him as one of the next leaders. So it's definitely going to be an exciting day. I want to thank Josh for coming on and talking a little Georgia football and previewing the spring day and what we have in action for tomorrow. If you're not already following us on all social media, make sure to. That's Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Sports all over the area here in Athens, and one of the final things we'll touch on is Georgia baseball. He covers extensively Georgia baseball, and they're a really good season they're having so far. Would you like to speak on that a little bit?
Yeah, so I'll admit that I was not aware of just how on the hot seat Scott Strickland was before entering this year. This team is something else. They're going to be something really special to watch as we go on, throughout the rest of April and even into May. This is a team. Keegan McGovern's having a career year. Michael Curry's having a career season. You've got two freshmen who are pitching absolutely lights out on the mound that you're going to have for another 2 to 3 years. And they kick off, or they first pitch is in about hour and a half in Oxford at Ole Miss, which is going to be a pretty important game for them. They didn't make the tournament because of RPI last year. Ole Miss is number 4, I believe, in the RPI this year, and Georgia ranks number 7, so it's going to be another important game for them. But yeah, this is going to be a fun team to watch. They play in SunTrust Park here in a few weeks, and I fully expect them to beat Georgia Tech again. And I think this is definitely a team that's going to make at least an NCAA regional, if not a super regional.
Yeah, that team is definitely talented. Being able to go watch some, I was there for their opening series, and being able to watch them, it's a different team than you've seen in years past. I mean, they have some great guys and on that team, and just the mix of veterans staring up like a Michael Curry, who is a senior leader on that team, and then guys like you're talking about those two pitchers for that on the freshman staff. I mean, they're like you said, they're pitching lights out. A couple SEC Player of the Week nominees for both of them, so it's going to be an exciting run. The SEC as a whole is dominating in baseball, so they're dominating as well, and it seems like Georgia sports has really taken a step up. And you and I could sit here and talk for hours upon hours about softball and basketball with the hiring of Tom Crean. But that's for another day. So we just want to thank you for joining us. This has been Josh Mixon. I'm Bryce Kuhn here with the Crowded Booth as we previewed G-Day here, live from Athens, Georgia. Make sure you tune in on all social media aspects. Once again, at YouTube, you can catch us the video. If you want to listen to the audio on your drive to Athens tomorrow, make sure to hit us up on SoundCloud and iTunes. Thanks for watching, and you all have a great day.